Cool. So this is how you're going to overlay tracks and make them a bit spiffier. So I'm going to go to File, Import. This is the audio you already have. Let's just pick a piece of music. I'm going to pick this because it's nice and backgroundy. Import that. And let's say, for instance, this is a nice fade out. So you might want to come in around about here with your voice instead of earlier. So you've got your voice. I'm going to zoom out in this so we can see more when we import this. I'm also going to drag that up so we've got more space. So I'm working on very little space there. So, File, Import, and I'm using this file because I actually have voiceover that I've recorded. So here's my voiceover. Great. Okay, so here's my pieces. So let's say this is where I'm talking and I've turned off computer audio on this because I don't want it to take in my voice through my microphone and also this as well. However, what you would do is when you've got these pieces here, is you would use this time shift tool to move them up and down. So you move that to around about here, let's say, and I'll just scroll out so we can see that. So this is coming in nicely over that piece of music and we'd be able to play it back. So you can play back the music and it's just going in over the end. And if you're kind of wondering as well how to split this up, all your pieces of audio, if you haven't been using this before, I'm going to hit Control and use my scroll wheel to zoom in, click there and use the command Control and I, and that'll split it up into two pieces. And then you just work away moving stuff up and back. Same thing again with this cursor, and you'll recognize that from the selection tool is the same as when you're typing a paragraph into a document. It's the same cursor. So then you can just keep importing different tracks. Thanks, AVG. That's great. I told it I didn't want to start my computer until tomorrow because it's Saturday. And then File and Import. We'll just import one more song as well. We'll go for something that's probably fairly short. Let's say that Chick 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 track probably isn't too long. So I'll import that. So here's our next song. Cool. You will notice that every time it adds it wants to add it to a new file or a new line on it, which is kind of going to get confusing pretty soon. And you're going to have to be resizing them all the time. However, you can move this along like you want to, but you can also move it up to whatever line you want as well, which I think is really handy. So I'm going to grab this and move this. Oh yes, it doesn't want to move up there because there's no space. It's kind of like an abacus. It likes to only move to where there's a bit of space. So it's like moving around icons on your smartphone or something like that. So we'll zoom in again. And again, like this ends pretty early, so you don't want to go right to the end here because there's going to be a lot of dead air. So you'd like to maybe move that up to here. And every time you do that, just play it back. Again, I've disabled computer audio to play back just because it's going to reverb what I'm saying into the microphone as well. But just play it back and just see what you think of it. Okay, so that's done really, really nice. It comes in straight after I've spoken. Sometimes you might want to leave a bit more space. So once more with feeling, at the end of that song, drag that up there, click on that here, and this is my next piece of audio. You notice that I've left loads of gap in between when I speak as well, just so I can find it really, really easily. I just think that helps. So Control and I, and that's split it again. And it's just a job of moving stuff up and down. And just remember, it likes a bit of space afterwards. So again, if you're finding that you can't move it, just move that right out of the way and give yourself a bit of room to move in the next song. Finally, when you're done, you'll notice that this track has got nothing on it. You can close that, get rid of it. And when you're done, File, Export Audio. And I'm going to save this on the desktop. I'm going to call it 131. I'm going to call it Test Show. Cool. And this is a bit where I was saying about bitrate as well. I think it automatically comes on as standard, which isn't great. So always save it at 320. And that's the best quality there, as opposed to Wave, which is absolutely massive and it'll take you half an hour to upload it. So it's exporting the entire file with the insane preset. The funny thing about that as well is, like, obviously I've got nothing here, so it's going to export that as like a lovely bit of silence, which is like very tense. But every time you've finished exporting something, there's absolutely nothing whatsoever to stop you from importing that file, having a look at it and going, that looks legit, that's okay, that's cool. So that's how you would do that. I'm just going to go to tum. I was hoping this was going to be under 5 minutes in a video, but again, you can just watch that back whenever you need to, and we will see. It has been saved, and then file, if we want to import that audio again, you can see what it looks like with our lovely gap in it, which is definitely going to have a gap in it. So yeah, I suppose that is about a 20-minute track, so that's why it's going to take a couple of seconds to load. If you're saving a full show, it's probably going to take you about 2 or 3 minutes, depending on how fast you are. So this is our beautiful show, our lovely show that's got like all that lovely silence in it. So again, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, I've forgotten something. So I definitely, I'd chop that out somehow. So I'd have a look at it at the end. But anyway, that's your file.